Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me this morning. Happy Saturday. Happy to have you guys here. And I am Lori Winslow with Rain or Shine Chalk Design. I am an independent designer with Chalk Couture, which means I get to use these wonderful transfers every day if I like. And today we are going to have our board and pillar club. So our board and pillar club works like this. Starting next week, I will put up a few of the size A transfers. This is a size A transfer. It's a 5x7 and it fits perfectly on our board and pillar. I will put up some voting options and if you in the VIP group, and if you are interested in joining us to make this project together, you can vote on which transfer you like best. This month, I had two people doing the board and pillar club, and they each chose a different transfer. So we're going to make both transfers today. So you get to vote for which transfer you like best, and then when the voting closes a couple of weeks before the second Saturday of the month, we close the voting, and then everybody purchases their items. The first month you need to purchase a board and pillar, and that's about $20. It is a very nice surface. It does have the option to go vertical as well as horizontal. So you can make lots of different designs on it. Then we'll need some chalk paste. We have all different kinds and colors of chalk paste. I recommend if you're just getting started to get a white. There's also the shimmer frost, which is a pretty white. So that would be an option if you wanted to start with the board and pillar club. Then you'll also need to buy your transfer. So your transfer is $10. So that's a cost that you would incur each month. You would not need a board and pillar each month, and you wouldn't need to buy new paste each month unless you chose to change your color. So that's how Board and Pillar Club works. It's a nice way to try a different transfer each month. You get to vote and choose which one you like. Good morning, Kathy. Thanks for being here this morning. Glad you're here. You get to vote on the one you like, and you can encourage other people to vote for yours so that you get the one you want. Or sometimes we just will go ahead and do, if we have a tie, we'll do two. Well, let's get started. So this is the board and pillar that I used last month. I wanted to show you, we also have these little board and base. Hi Amy, nice to see you here. Thanks for joining us. So this is called board and base, and it's another option. It fits the A-size transfers as well. So if you preferred the board and base, you could order that as well instead of the board and pillar if you prefer this one. As you can see, this one's a lot smaller, but it might fit better into certain, some people's decor or space better than others. You don't have to confess. It's okay. It's all for fun. All right, so I will show you how to clean this one off. This is from last month. So we always do board and pillar on the second Saturday of the month. That gives us enough time to order our products and have them at our, back home. It takes, some orders are taking up to almost 2 weeks. Not quite 2 weeks, but that's kind of what we're finding right now. I think things will get a little bit better as we go. I think the company is still kind of reeling from all of the orders from the launch day. I mean, they're not reeling, but they're still filling those orders, or they might be completed or close to completed on those. All right, so as you can see, I squirted with just a little bit of water, and that loosens up gets my chalk wet, and then We do have these little board erasers, and it's just a microfiber sponge, like the Mr. Clean, or the, oh, I always forget the name of that guy. The little white sponges. I know you guys have seen them. They're just like those. And as you can see, they get pretty ratty after you've used them a long time. So we're just going to clean that up. You can see it's not difficult to get it off. This one was just a month ago. This one I made a couple of months ago. So it would be a little harder to clean off. And I can show you that too. But it will come off, and this board eraser is nice. If you look, and you can still see a little bit of the image, if you just spray it with water and then you just keep cleaning it with your board eraser, that image will come off. That kind of ghosting image. Kathy, you've had kind of a roller coaster, or not roller coaster, but you've had a busy month. So I can totally understand. You've traveled and all kinds of things. I totally get it. Alright, so I thought I would clean this one off and make one on the board and base. Since we have a board and pillar, we'll do. Let's do this one. And this one's been on quite a while too, so let's see how easy or difficult it is to get the chalk off of it. I like to show you cleaning and that sort of thing often, so folks who haven't been here to see get the chance to see how the products work. This one definitely, I can tell, is a little harder to get off. But it just means that the chalk is really dried and set really well, which is good if you don't want it to, you know, it's not going to come off accidentally. I know I wondered about that. Having grandkids, you know, I wondered if there would be any worry about them rubbing it off, but there is no worry of that. As soon as it's dry, it's pretty set, and then it just keeps getting more and more firm. Oh, you have a new house guest coming, Kathy? Well, that's exciting. You're having a good summer, it sounds like. Well, I'm excited, and I appreciate you guys trying out the Board and Pillar Club. I think it's fun to craft together. So for those of you who don't know about the Board and Pillar Club, I explained it, but the fun is that then on that second Saturday, we do that project together. So my friends who ordered the transfer for this month, they are at home and they're able to do it along with me. They don't have to, obviously. They could have done it already, or they could wait and do it when they have time. But that's kind of the thought behind it, is that we can craft together, even though we can't be together because of the craziness going on in our world. Alright, so now I have a nice clean side. Now this is a double-sided surface, so you can see I didn't clean this side. So I have a nice double-sided surface. The Board and Pillar would be actually even more perfect if it was double-sided, but it is not double-sided. It's a single-sided surface. Okay, now I know the ladies that ordered, who participated, have other chalk colors. So if I felt like the people doing the Board and Pillar today only had white, then I would only do white with them. But I know that these people have been doing Chalk Couture for a little while, and they have other colors. So I'm going to choose some different colors. They're free to choose whatever the colors they want. And So I'll choose some different colors. I want to use the shimmer colors and kind of highlight them today. I'm going to use, for the Good Things Take Time, is one of the ones that was chosen for this week, for this month. I am going to use this kind of assortment of fall shimmer colors. So, well, actually, this is not a fall shimmer. It's called Regal, and it is just a really pretty dark purple. This is a shimmer. This is the Shimmer Crimson, and it's a really pretty dark red. The Shimmer Olive, really pretty green. And the Shimmer Harvest. I've used a couple of these a few times already. So I want to use that on this. I think it'll, for me, it will make me think, bring a little fall color in, and be fun. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing you do when you're going to use the transfer, you want to fuzz your transfer. So our transfers are silkscreen. So the opening is not a hole, it's actually, there's actually a silk screen in here. So I can't put my finger through this. There is a mesh right there. And that's what makes our transfers make such wonderful prints. Oh, good, Amy. I think the shimmer colors will look really pretty on these. All right, I don't remember which of you. Thanks, Kathy. I thought they'd be pretty together. You can't really go wrong with Chalk Couture color combos, though. I don't really remember which of you which of you voted on which print. It doesn't really matter as far as which board they go on. So I'm going to line this up. That's always one of the things that takes a little bit of time, but make sure you take your time for that. So one little kind of cheat thing you can do if lining up is difficult for you, if you have a surface like this where you have this, a bottom or a top, is just line that transfer right up. It has a little bit of space between. There's going to be a little more at the top than at the bottom if I do it this way. I could line it up the other way too. I could just line it right up at the top. So there are ways to help when you're trying to line things up. Chalk Couture does sell a measuring tape, and so you're able to lay that tape out on your project. It's the same kind of adhesive that's on these silkscreen transfers. So you could actually lay it out on the project and then lay this on top of it to help you gauge your measuring a little bit. But I try not to be too much of a perfectionist with these projects. I think I probably was way more of a perfectionist when I was younger than I am now. Now I think after having 4 children, I know that, things happen and you learn to go with the flow a little bit. All right, so I'm going to tip that up. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if that's a good... Can you see well, or should I put you a little closer? Give me a thumbs up if it's good, and no thumbs up if I should pull you closer. Hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm not seeing any thumbs up, so I want to pull you guys a little bit closer. Let's take the lid off my Crimson Shimmer. Oh, I need some paper towels. What did I do with my paper towels? Interesting. I've been crafting in here, and I think I took my stuff away. Oh, good. I see some thumbs up. Thanks, guys. I noticed that when you use, when you're on a live, there's about a 20-second delay. So if you are going to do lives, you have to kind of know that there is a delay. So it will take, if you ask a question, it takes a little while before the other people even hear it. So sometimes at the beginning I would ask a question and thought, well, nobody wants to answer. But it wasn't that. It was mostly that there was just a time delay. Alright, so I'm going to open my chalks and take a look at them. I want a nice creamy consistency. My shimmers are new and they were just newly manufactured. So I know that their consistency is probably going to be pretty good. As the chalks sit and age, you'll find that your consistency is a little drier. So my Regal I've had for a while and it is a little bit drier. It's a little thick when I pick it up. It's not streaming at all. So I'm going to add some water and I'm going to stir. And then I'm going to just set it down, and that'll be the last color I use because I want it to have a little time to absorb that water. And I'll mix it again before I use it. Alright, so that's my hot tip, is go ahead and add a little water and mix it. And then I'm just going to let it sit so that it can absorb that water. The chalk will absorb the water while I'm working on the other colors. So I'm using two colors that are pretty dark. I have this Regal and the Crimson that are pretty dark. So I think I want to put them at the bottom. But those words are small. I've been thinking about this morning, thinking how should I do my colors? That's always my tricky part. Actually, I think the large letters, even though this is red and it's dark, I think the large letters will probably help that. So what I think I'm going to do right now is I think I'll do the red for the good. I think I'll do the gold for things. And then I'll do the green for take time. And then the Regal for just the dots. I'm not sure how those dark colors are going to show up on my board. So I was trying to see how that should lay out. Now if you look at this this one, you can see that, do you see how it's just kind of almost like it'll stand up? I don't know, you'll be able to tell the difference. It's just such a creamy consistency. You can definitely tell the difference between a dry chalk and a fresh creamy chalk. I really like the fonts on this transfer. Really cute idea how they use these different fonts together. Alright, so that's super fast. I am going to lift this up and we'll take a look to make sure that if I want to add more chalk, I can. Ooh, I like that on there. It's a very rich red color. It's a little shinier right now than it will be because it's wet. So one of the things that I've learned is if you pull it up and then just don't press it back down, it can lay back down and it's fine that way. It won't hurt the chalk at all. You want to make sure that your letters are pressed back down, especially at the top, because if you've pulled it at all, you might have pulled it up. So I'm just going to press back down, make sure I don't have any air bubbles under my letters. So when I do my next color, it's good to go. Alright, so I'm going to grab that Harvest Shimmer. You can see it's really creamy too. Got a great consistency. And here we go. So I'm using a mini squeegee. So we have a couple of different sizes squeegees. This is a small squeegee, and this is a mini squeegee. So you can see the difference in size. When I started, I loved the mini squeegee. I think because I was doing really small projects, mostly. As you graduate to a little bit bigger transfers, that small squeegee is nice because you can cover a lot more space more quickly. And that's something you want to do because you don't want your chalk to dry in the transfer. I'm just trying to make sure that I get all of my letters, all of the edges covered on those letters. And then I'm just going to pull up the extra chalk and get it back into my container. No reason to waste chalk by leaving it on your transfer. You're going to wash your transfer and it's going to go away, that extra chalk. So I'm going to keep the bottom intact down here. Again, I'm going to pull it off. So this one has a lot of positive space in those letters. So don't worry too much about that inner space. It's supposed to look like that. I know at the beginning it can be kind of confusing about the positive space inside those transfers, inside those letters and things especially. Okay, so I'm going to push that back down. Alright, I said I was going to use the green on the Take Time. I really like this transfer. I like the quote. Now this is a new one, but I can feel it feels a little bit drier than the other two. But it's not so dry that I'm worried about it sticking in my transfer. And that's something you just kind of have to practice and get a feel for, is how dry is okay and how dry is not okay. And sometimes I make the mistake of doing that incorrectly too. So it really is, you know, a process where you learn as you go. And this is not a big transfer, so I probably don't even have to be lifting in between. I just wanted to show you that that's a great way to keep that paste from sticking in your transfer. And I did cut one of the small squeegees in half, or, you know, not in half, but in thirds, kind of. I had a few jobs that I needed a really small piece for, and so you can just cut it very easily with scissors to make it smaller. I did recently get a couple of new tools that I didn't have before. So we have a multi-tool, and I'm not even sure what this one's called. It has kind of a chisel tip edge, so it's nice for getting into spaces. And it also has this blunt edge, and you can take the tip off, and it actually has a real sharp, well, not real sharp, but it has a pointed end. It is sharp. So that's great for, it's great for taking chalk off. So if you are chalking and you get into an area that you didn't mean to, and you want to take a little bit of that dried paste off, it's a great way to get in there and do that. Okay, so I'm going to use that Regal color to get those little dots. Alright, let's take a look at the whole project. And I'm still going to pull it up slowly in case I want to go back. Then I don't have to figure out where to lay it down. I could just, right now, if I thought I needed more chalk, I can just lay it right back on there because I still have the adhesive stuck. So when you have a big transfer and you cut it into smaller pieces, be thinking about, hi Lisa, glad you're here this morning. Be thinking about when you cut up a transfer, leave yourself some space between, leave some green because that's your adhesive part. You don't want to cut really close to your letters if you can help it. You want that green adhesive so that you can, so that you have that good contact. So when you pull your transfer up to take a peek, you're able to have some adhesive for it to be holding on with. I hope that makes sense. All right, so there is our first board and pillar completed. Good things take time. And that purple is really subtle. That regal on that black. I don't even know if I can see it, guys. So that might not have been the best choice for those dots. You can see it if you look closely. I was hoping it would come off of there a little bit better, but that's okay. If I was upset about that, guys, I can wash the whole thing off again. I can start again. I could even just take a little paper towel, get it a little bit wet, and I could just wipe it off. I would probably wait until these have set or dry them, so it's a little bit easier, but I think it turned out pretty cute. Let's put this on our stand. So the stand has this little screw in the back, and you're just going to tighten that down. That's going to hold your board right in place, so it's not going to go anywhere. It's a very, very sturdy piece. I really, really like our board and pillars. I think they're a really nice piece. And then you could always decorate this, guys. You could add, those beads are really popular right now. You could add a ribbon, a bow, lots of different ways that you can dress up and dress down the board and pillar. You could even paint the surface, guys. You could use our chalk paint if you wanted to change the color. I have not tried that, but I know that I have used the chalk on lots of different things to change the color of them. So you can always give it a try. All right, so I have my chalks here. I don't think I have any cleanup supplies in here. I meant to have some stuff so I could show you guys how to clean up. So right now you can see the edge of this red chalk. Because these get tipped and moved around, especially when they're shipping them to you, when this lip gets chalk on it, when it dries, it gets crusty. You don't want that crusty chalk to go back in your container. It won't really rehydrate like the rest of it will, because it's so thin. It's hard to blend it in with this. Then when I start pushing that across, if I take that out and I push it across my surface, it's gonna, those little chunks are going to pull across my surface and make lines on my surface. So it's really important, maybe like once a month, to just go in, and if it's chunky pieces, now this feels pretty soft. If it's chunky pieces, I would not want to put those back in. I would just want to clean it off with a paper towel. I just run it around the edge all the way around, and then I just make sure that gets in the trash. Okay. If it's soft and it's the same consistency as the rest of your chalk and it's not chunky, it can go back right in. I don't want to throw away my product if I don't have to. So that's just kind of some thoughts about that. So give me a second. I'm going to transfer and get these lids closed. That's something I haven't been doing very well. I've been leaving my paste open, and I've been seeing that they get a little dry. And I have a little tub of water here behind my board and pillars, and it's just a container of just water. Everything we use gets cleaned with water. You don't need to do any other cleaning chemicals or products or anything. It's just a basic chalk. I'll put all my pieces back. Clorox wipes are handy for cleaning these products. I don't worry about the bleach getting into. If a little bit gets in, it's not going to hurt these. I'm going to add one more squirt of water to this Regal so that the next time I open it up, it should be a lot better consistency. It won't be as dry. And I think it was the green that I said was a little dry. I'll just put like a half a squirt in there. Now you can over wet your chalks. Now that doesn't mean you've ruined your chalks. It just means if it's really, really wet, you're going to find that it might, if it's too wet, the liquid will slide right under your adhesive transfer, and you don't want that. You don't want your adhesive to let that through, because then it's going to bleed. And I know you guys have seen when things bleed, when paint bleeds under a regular stencil, and it can do that with these too. Okay, so for this transfer, we have Live in the Moment. I really like the fonts on this one as well. It's a great thought as well. So I'm going to do that one on the board and base. So it's a perfect fit. They're made to fit on these, this A size transfer. Now when I line this up and set it up, I want to remember that this piece goes down into the base. So as you can see, it's got a good maybe 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch that goes down into there to hold it up. So you wouldn't want to put your quote all the way down at the bottom, because you would lose some of your letters. Okay, so something to think about. I am going to use, this time, I'm going to use our Shimmer Silver and our Shimmer Copper. And I haven't used the Shimmer Gold yet. Okay, so I wanted you guys to get to see these shimmer colors. I am just really, really loving all of the shimmer, and I am not a glitter girl, so I'm as surprised about this as anybody that I'm really loving these. I think it has just enough shimmer, but not so much that it feels like it's over the top. Okay, so let's get our transfer pulled off and get it fuzzed. These are my Chalk Couture surfaces, so I don't have to use my wax. If you're using a surface that is not a Chalk Couture surface, you want to have some kind of wax. Now you don't have to buy the Chalk Couture wax. You can buy Min Wax at Walmart. There's a lot of different, I think there's a Kills brand wax that's out there, and you just want to use a little bit of wax to cover your surface where your transfer is going to go. It keeps your transfer from sticking and ruining when you pull it up. So our silkscreen transfers are a little bit delicate. So when I pull up a transfer, I want to make sure that I am pulling it up either from side to side. So I want to pull the whole transfer this way, or I want to pull the whole transfer from the top down. I don't want to grab a corner. It's a temptation always, and I still have that temptation to pull from a corner. If I pull from a corner, I have a good chance of stretching the transfer. And if I stretch it, then these silkscreen areas can tear and pull away from the plastic adhesive here. Kathy, I love the shimmer colors too. Yes, that was definitely from the launch I don't usually get excited about very excited about the colors, but this launch, I was definitely excited about the colors. So I'm going to do that same cheat. I'm going to use the top of my my board to line up. Now I also need to look left to right. So sometimes lining up, like I say, sometimes that's the hardest part, is getting it lined up. But that's okay. It just takes a few minutes to, and sometimes I have to stand up so I can see everything at once. But I want it to be lined up pretty well. Okay, so I used that sheet, and I can see it's not 100% straight, but I think it's close enough. The other thing you have to realize is that once your project's all put together, you're not going to notice a lot of those little bitty details. Now I can check it and see how it's going to look, and make sure that my letters aren't going to be under. So this is thin enough, I can put it right back into the base. The transfer's thin enough, I can put it in the base and see. Yep, it's going to be fine. All right, now how to do the colors. So I've got the gold, silver, I think I will do it in that order. Gold, silver, and then the copper, like the bronze. All right, let's give that a try. So sometimes I use a stir and I get in there and I make a stir. I know these are in pretty good shape. They're new. So I'm going to just dip right in with my tool here. I dipped right in and I'm just going to go right over. Now if I'm color mixing, I don't want to get my colors mixed inside my container. If I'm going to color mix, I'm going to do that somewhere else. I got really close here, but it doesn't look like I put the gold in there. So if I went over that, I would just lift it off and I could go in and I could clean it so that I didn't get it inside of that letter. Okay, I'm going to grab another squeegee, and I think I'm going to use my finger and just kind of push that up, get a little bit of that excess off of that gold so it's not right next to those letters and I don't drag it in there. Grab that silver. Now, if I thought this was going to take me a long time, I would definitely want to pull that transfer down. And it's up to you. I think it's always a good idea to pull that transfer down. Make sure it's not drying in there. Ooh, this is really sticking on here. So good to know that the board and base, the board is a little, kind of grabs those transfers a little bit more. Oh, and I've got a spot here at the top that I want a little more gold. So as I was lifting up, I could see this loop at the top of the L. Didn't hold that color. I missed a little bit of that. So pulling it up, I hope you guys can see. That looks like my E needs a little more on there too. So I had no idea that I had missed that, and that's kind of the way it tends to be. And it just happens when you don't get enough pressure on, and sometimes when it's at the bottom, that's why you don't get enough pressure on there. Lift that up. Ah, okay. So I have a pretty good print so far. Live in the, so I will just lay that back down. I really like those colors. Happy with my color choice. again, and I know I say it a million times every time I'm on here, but I love the fact that if I don't really like my color combinations, guys, I can just wipe it right off. I can rinse it off, wipe it off, and I can just try it again in a different color. Not many craft projects can you say that about. I love how versatile this is. I also love that I can think about who I'm making that project for. You know, is this their color combination? Is this their favorite color combination? If it's not, then I can change it to make it their favorite. All right, I see a little bit of the top of that M. I'm going to put just a little bit more chalk on there. There we go. All right, and I'm just hanging these off the edge. What I'm hearing is they're telling us more now. Thanks, I'm glad you guys like it too. Thanks for the hearts, guys. They're telling us now that putting our transfers into water to soak is probably not that great of an idea. That they're finding that the transfers lose their adhesive if they sit in the water very long. So I'm trying to be a little more careful about it. I've been hanging them off the edge of my work surface, and I was afraid the chalk paste would dry in there too much, but it hasn't been a problem. I have noticed that some of my transfers seem less sticky after they've been sitting in the water for a little while. So I guess we just have to live and learn, figure out what works best, and then do that. So I think this is really pretty. I don't know if you guys saw the video from sometime. I don't know, I've lost track of when I have done the videos for you guys. But there was one where you could change this base by using some different moldings, like you do for a crown molding around your ceiling or a molding that goes around the floor. But there's some really cute ideas for different ways to change this base. You can totally grab your sandpaper and just sand it. That gives it a lighter finish. You could do a color wash, with one of your colors right onto here, just like a watercolor. Just kind of wet it down and get it wet. And I would probably sand it first and then try that if you wanted to try that look. It is going to be something you could probably wash off to some extent. I think this wood, there is a little bit of a grain on here, so it might not completely come off, but it would be something to try if you wanted to give that a try. I think using these colors has made it kind of elegant looking. The shimmer colors just have a different feel to them than the other pastes. All right, guys. Trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, I really liked the look of that too, Kathy. I just thought that was a genius idea to change that up. If you are, if you love moldings and if you're kind of into that chic, boho chic or country look, or just about anything, I think just about anybody could appreciate that look. So those are our two projects for today. Starting next week, I will put up some voting. I think we can go ahead and start doing some fall transfers. I was trying to save those. I didn't want to do those this month. I was hoping to wait. So for September, for the Board and Pillar Club, it will be the second Saturday in September. If you're interested in joining us, I will have a list of the things that you'll need to pick up, and we will vote first. So before you purchase anything, we will do a group vote, and we will then once we have a winner, then I will put everything on there that you need to purchase to join. Again, the board and pillar is $20. Your chalk paste, you get to choose your color that you want to use. You really only need one color. I did multiple colors this time, and that's an option, but you don't have to do that, especially if you're just starting out and you want to try Board and Pillar Club. Just pick one color paste to get started. White's a great option because we have the black, and white pops off of there just like this. Don't feel like, oh, I need a million colors. You don't. Look how cute that is with just the white. So you need that. You need a tool. If you didn't buy a tool, you could totally use a credit card. You know, your Sam's Club card, any kind of like flexible plastic would work really well. It will do the exact same thing. And then you need the transfer, whatever one we voted on. You'll use that transfer, and the transfer is $10. So your first month is a little more expensive because you're getting your surface, but it's a reusable surface, guys. You can use this. I mean, I will have these for, you know, years. They're that quality. So then each month it's only $10 unless you want to add a different color to your collection. So you're welcome, Amy. I was happy to do both transfers. I wanted you guys to get the one you really wanted. So like this month I had 2 votes and it was tied, and I didn't want to ask them to do a different one that they, you know, they voted for the one they really liked. And I wanted to have both transfers. I think they're really cute, and I love that I'll be able to use these words. One of the cool things about the transfers, guys, is that you can intermix the words. If you think about it, that's what they've done. They've just used these words. I could totally change it up. So I can't think of anything just off the top of my head, but I've seen it done, and you know, if you wanted to do something else, you could even put these together and mix and match the words. So I can't think of anything else. Let's see, if you enjoy this project, if you wouldn't mind sprinkling the video to a friend who might enjoy this kind of video. If you do that, I'll put your name in my sprinkle bucket. If you do sprinkle, would you tell me on the video that you sprinkled? And I will make sure to know to put your name in the bucket. I noticed someone shared a meme and I couldn't figure out who it was. So I think maybe it was somebody who isn't a follower of my page. If you haven't followed or liked, go ahead and make sure you do that. That way it gives me notification that you have sprinkled the love for my page. So on Monday, I will pick a sprinkle winner, and that person will get a tea towel with our teacher quote for this week. If you have any questions, like always, please feel free to ask or message me. I'm happy to talk to you about Chalk Couture or anything else that you're interested in. If you have project ideas, feel free to throw them up there. Tell me what you'd like to see. Is there a surface you'd like to see chalked on? Is there a project you're curious about? Let me know. I love ideas. If you did your board and pillar this month, please put your picture in the VIP group. I really want that to be a place where we can share our projects, and it doesn't have to be a Chalk Couture project. If you are making other projects, I know Kathy was making cards the other day. If you want to put your card pictures up, I would love to have those on the VIP group. That's where we can share ideas and encourage each other with our crafting or anything else. It doesn't even have to be crafting related. I just want that to be a fun place for us to hang out together. All right, guys, I think I've rambled completely everything I can think of. I hope that you have a wonderful Saturday. Awesome, Amy. Thanks so much. Amy and Kathy, thank you so much for supporting this page, participating in the Board and Pillar Club, and being a great cheerleader. I think our page is up to almost 300 likes, so I'm really excited about that. Trying to build this community a little at a time. And that's where your sprinkles helps other people see and check us out. All right, guys, Get out there and make it a great day. Enjoy your Saturday. Bye-bye.